Monsieur Demir. I am sorry your celebrations have taken a rather dark turn.
As am I, Detective. I hope we will be able to bring this investigation to an end post-haste.
With your cooperation, I will do my very best.
And besides your time in the hall, where were you before we were summoned to the dining room?
I was here in the salon. I thought I would have a moment of peace to calm myself, but the Comtesse and my brother followed behind.
Yeah.
Did they inquire into the reasons behind the fight in the hall?
I think they both saw it as some light entertainment, more than anything else.
The Comtesse does not strike me as one to enjoy violence.
And not so much violence, but karma for the Major, perhaps. You did not hear how he spoke to my wife-to-be. She is still rather upset about the whole thing.
If you would be so kind as to stay here, I may require your help further.
Mademoiselle Margos.
Comtesse, I am sorry our next conversation must be under such formal circumstances.
It is not the first time Felix has ruined a good party.
The current state of tonight's celebrations is the least of my priorities, Comtesse.
Well, it's at the top of mine, detective. I did not come here for a wake.
Perhaps then we should proceed with my questions and you can get back to celebrating.
It would be my pleasure, chérie.
When we spoke earlier, did you remain here in the salon until dinner was served?
I did. I thought by staying in one place, it would be easy for the staff to bring me my drinks. How wrong I was.
And who else was present in here?
The handsome groom-to-be and his brother, although Zachariah, is it, made a rather sharp exit at one stage.
Ooh.
Did he say where he was going?
He barely said 2 words to either of us. I think he was more concerned with his drink.
Another to notice Monsieur Demir's drinking, and yet no one seems concerned.
Merci, Comtesse. If I have any further questions, I shall be sure to come and find you.
Okay, we have to go back and talk to Zachariah again, guys. But let's now talk to Jackie.
Mademoiselle Conrad, I am sure you understand the delicate nature of the situation.
I knew I had seen your face before. You were just an officer when that story hit the paper.
You have a très bon memory, mademoiselle. That was a long time ago.
You can't escape the past, especially when you go and do something like that.
That is very true, but one can learn from it and create a better future.
What would you say to an
No.
Please, mademoiselle. Catching the Major's killer is my sole concern right now. Now, if you would be so kind, I have some questions for you.
Tell me about your evening since your arrival.
I arrived, unpacked my bags in my room, and made it downstairs just in time to see the Major take a right hook from Gideon. And then I went to check out the library.
And you were joined by Monsieur Beckers.
And Ernesto, or Monsieur Silver, as you say. But after he ignored my attempt at pleasantries, I left him to his book in the corner.
And your conversation with Monsieur Beckers that I interrupted.
You are a persistent one, aren't you? Makes sense now I know who you really are. You'll just have to wait and read about it in the paper like everyone else.
Mademoiselle Conrad still remains tight-lipped about her discussion with Monsieur Beckers, but a hint at reading about it in the newspaper makes me believe it may be of a much grander nature than I expected.
You have been most helpful. I request you do not go too far. Merci.
Okay, I want to go back to Zachariah.
I'm an open book, Poirot.
No new topics? Are we not going to ask him about why he stormed out of this room? The sudden exit?
I think that is all for now. Merci for your time.
So I guess that is not possible. Alrighty. Last but not least, let's talk to the butler again.
Is that the end of your interrogations?
There are still some questions that remain to be asked.
Really? Go back to the silver. Ask him why he was being ignored in the library. Poor Ernesto.
More questions? I suppose so.
No new questions.
Merci for your cooperation.
Maybe I need to do my mind map. Let's do our mind map. How many connections? 6 connections! That is a ton of connections. Okay. Hello Maria, how are you doing? Alright. Zachariah saw Gideon and Margos. Gideon saw Margos and Zachariah. Can I connect all this up? It's confusing links.
I should not be surprised by my own skills of deduction.
They confirm each other's appearance in the salon. Also Margos. Zachariah went missing too. Yeah.
I must take a different approach if I am to uncover the truth.
Zachariah expressed disdain for Margos. Is the reason why he stormed out of the room. He doesn't like her.
I must act on thought and fact, not on impulse.
Jackie was talking to Hugo.
I should not be surprised by my own skills of deduction.
Jackie and Hugo confirm each other's appearance in the library. Argument between Hugo and Jackie. Ernesto was in the library. Ernesto was lurking in the library. He was lurking. Why are you using that word? Is the two of you who left him alone and now you are saying that he lurks inside the library? That is uncalled for.
Things are beginning to become clearer.
They confirm each other's appearance in the library. Jackie and Ernesto. Hey, Margos. I need to do Margos. Gideon was present. Okay, connect these two then.
The pieces of the puzzle are finally coming together.
Margos and Gideon confirm each other's appearance in the salon. Maybe I need to go back and talk to some people again. I don't know.
You came to the right place.
You have been most helpful.
I am all yours.
No new
Merci,
topics.
Countess.
Ernesto being ignored in the library, lurking in the library, and then Zachariah left the room. Those are the two irregularities, guys. What am I supposed to do now?
Whatever you require.
I don't see new topics
Merci,
here.
Monsieur Beck.
More questions?
Merci for your
Anyone else? I don't think so. I'm glad to see there's something for all tastes. Perhaps I will be able to enjoy a drink later. Maybe there's evidence to be found inside this room. A bottle. This is weird. How is the weather over here? Well, we got a cloudy sky. It's not too warm, it's not too cold. So, good weather over here.
Is there something I am not seeing?
Oh! Gideon saw Margot and Zachariah. Zachariah missing. Oh, that is a link. Okay. If you say so.
Some would say a lucky guess. I would say a moment of genius.
Margot claims Zachariah stepped out of the room, but Gideon did not mention it. Was his missing time accounted for? Talk to Zachariah. Now we can talk to Zachariah. Okay, there's another one then. We also have Da Silva, Ernesto. So Jackie and Hugo confirm each other's alibi. Ernesto was lurking in the library.
Another success. I never doubted myself.
Hugo failed to mention seeing Ernesto in the library. Yeah, that is something, huh? So now we have to talk to Hugo. Okay. Talk to Hugo and talk to Zachariah.
Whatever you require, Detective.
Your story of tonight's events.
I know you are probably used to dealing with criminals, but not everyone is trying to hide something.
I hope for your sake that you do not hide anything from me.
What is it you think I'm hiding?
I struggle to believe you did not know of Monsieur da Silva's presence in the library.
Is that what this is about? I saw him hiding in the corner, pretending to read. I'd be surprised if he even could. I did not speak to him, and he certainly didn't make any attempt to speak with me.
Monsieur Demire invited you here to speak with him. You didn't see that as a fitting time too?
I was speaking with Jacqueline, and quite frankly, I was in no mood to be dealing with that man.
Monsieur Bacchus is courageous and full of vigor, and is planning, but his execution does not share such confidence.
Merci, Monsieur Beckers. It has been a most enlightening conversation.
And Zachariah.
I'm an open book, Poirot.
Your version of events.
I told you already. I was here in the salon.
And you did not leave even once.
Well, I had to use the bathroom. I didn't realize I had to update you every time nature called.
You may keep your calls of nature to yourself, merci. And then you returned to the salon?
If you don't believe me, ask Archibald. He saw me on his way up to the study.
I think that is all for now. Merci for your time.
Butler, Mr. Butler. And he confirmed his version of events.
Can you confirm seeing Monsieur Demire in the hall this evening?
Zachariah, yes. I was on my way with a bottle of whiskey to the Major. He shouted a rather ignorable greeting to me and asked for directions to the bathroom.
So you brought a bottle to the Major. Maybe he is poisoned after all.
I presume you showed him the way?
Aye, Detective. I showed him to the hall bathroom. I didn't think it was wise to attempt the stairs, not in that state.
Okay, can we do the connection now? We have 2 new connections. Zachariah's absence covered by Archibald. Where is Zachariah? Right there.
What a revelation!
Archibald confirms Zachariah's movements out of the salon, however brief.
Magnifique.
Absent time accounted for by Archibald. Hey, what about... Gideon, Zachariah and Margals were all in the salon, at least for some time altogether. Surely someone else is to blame? Okay, there we go.
This will not get me
Another
any
link is
closer.
up. What about the silver then? The silver. It's gotta be this one then.
Order and method. That is the way to solve the problem.
It's not this.
Is there something?
Okay, I don't know. Oh, it's right here. Ernesto. Hugo saw Ernesto briefly. Okay, so that also cancel each other out then.
Another success. I never doubted myself.
So this rules everybody out, except Madame and Mademoiselle. Hugo and Ernesto now confirm each other's appearance in the library.
Magnifique.
And they all support each other's versions of events. Someone else must be responsible, surely. Not necessarily. Even with some many differences in stories, the guests all confirm each other's alibis. It is not the outcome I was expecting, or perhaps hoping for. I think it is poison, then. If it is poison, then they're all still suspects. Poison can be administered prior to the murder. So I guess we're done with this now. Are we going to the next one? Or are we done? We can leave the room! Come, my little glaze house, let us solve this mystery. New mind map! They did not yield the result I desired. Perhaps a more direct approach, considering their potential motives, will reveal more. Okay, maybe they're all working together, guys. It is possible. It has happened before in the Hercule Poirot case. Okay, no connections here though. Can I leave the room? Okay, hold on. Can I leave?
Is that the end of your interrogations?
I guess so.
There are still some questions that remain to be asked.
Oh no! Alright, let's do another round then. We'll start with Zachariah again. A more direct
I'm an
approach.
open book, Poirot.
Did you speak with the Major this evening?
Why would I? I've got nothing to say to him. Except maybe to keep his hands off what is ours.
What is yours that he could want?
Money, of course. Why do you think he has been suckling at the Van den Bosch teeth for so long? He's bled them dry, and now they will all do the same to our money.
Our?
My father's, Gideon's, it's all the same.
I get the sense you and Monsieur Gideon are not the closest.
When you have not been on level playing fields for years, it's hard to have a fair game.
I am afraid I do not quite understand.
If we're playing golf, he has a full set of clubs and a caddy in the form of my father, and I have the old split putter. Make sense now?
Perfectly.
There is certainly some hostility towards his brother, and this runs much deeper than brotherly rivalry.
I think that is all for now. Merci for your time.
Especially how he described the brotherly relationship just now, guys. So there is something going on between these two.
Whatever you require, detective.
How do you know the victim?
I know that I don't think, or didn't think, a great deal of him. I'm just sorry I didn't get the chance to tell him what I thought.
The man has recently been murdered.
Someone must stand up to men like him, with their crooked dealings and lack of, well, any compassion at all.
Another rousing speech, monsieur.
It's the truth. If you knew what I know, maybe he wouldn't be dead, but behind bars instead.
Your connection to the family is through Monsieur Demire, n'est-ce pas?
Yes, Gideon invited me. If you will recall from our previous conversation, we have been working together and he thought now would be a good time to discuss matters.
To discuss business at the celebration of his engagement?
We're all here, so what better time? He thought Da Silva might even let his guard down, if he was in a more jubilant mood. It would be wise to not continue to ignore us any longer.
The Silva was ignoring you, you mean?
And what business was it that was so urgent?
Yeah.
We're trying to resolve the worker strikes. It has gone on long enough. Now is the time for him to listen to our demands so we can put an end to it all. Put the violence and upset behind us.
You seem to hold a certain level of, shall we say, anger towards the Major.
Anger, yes, but that's all. I wouldn't kill a man.
Who knows?
You must see why this leads me to have suspicions.
You can't honestly think I did it. I am a man of peace. I make changes with words, not with violence.
I barely mentioned the Major and Monsieur Beckers became rather flustered and defensive. So, are there plans for a negotiation with Monsieur de Silva?
I am fighting for the basic rights of our workers, nothing more. If he can't see that, he is a lesser man than I already thought.
And where does Monsieur Gédéon fit into the negotiations? And his brother?
His brother? I didn't even know he had a brother until I arrived here. Gideon certainly hasn't talked much about him. I get the sense there's not much love lost between them.
And when was the last time you saw the Major?
Last I saw, he was outside having a cigar.
Oui, I spoke with him myself, but that was some time ago.
He does love a cigar. You'd have to stand out in those conditions. I could barely see him through the snow.
Oh, barely see him through the snow. Maybe that's not him smoking the cigar. Maybe that was a murderer smoking the cigar pretending to be him. Oh.
Merci, Monsieur Beckers. It has been a most enlightening conversation.
It is snowing pretty heavily outside, guys, so visibility is very low at the moment. Oh, it is possible. So...
More questions? I suppose so.
Can you tell me more about your relationship with the deceased?
Felix, I didn't know him that well. We spoke a handful of times. I met him through Cassandra. I thought him to be rather pompous.
But you remained polite, as any gentleman would.
Of course.
The negative opinion of the Major is rather ubiquitous. I'm yet to meet someone with a particularly positive view of him. Everybody hates him! That's old news already. Everyone hates him. So why don't you tell me more about your relationship with Madame Van de Bosch? Are you in love with her?
What is there to say? She's a remarkable woman, and I admire her. Even after Edwin's death, she held herself with such poise.
It sounds as though you hold her in the highest regard.
And why shouldn't I? Women these days could take a leaf out of her book on how to present themselves.
You said you had talked with the Major a few times. About what exactly? Ernesto, a Mexican name, but the character looks like... Yeah, I have the same question, Daniel. He does location, the name came, the Spanish name. Maybe he's a mix between a Spanish and an Asian. Yeah, I think that is the case here.
He had approached me about doing some business together. I like to know who I'm getting into bed with first.
And you both went ahead with your business venture.
Not so much a business venture, more security related. But there is no need to discuss that any further.
Is there something you wish to remain hidden about your partnership, monsieur?
It was far from a partnership. I hired him to run security at my factories. If the workers were going to get violent, I wanted to make sure I was ready to protect my property.
Oh, that I did not know. You hired a Major to run security. Oh, that is new, guys. Interesting. So both you and the Major have been very supportive of Madame Van de Bosch over the years, n'est-ce pas?
That is correct.
And the reason for your support was always of a purely platonic nature.
If you're trying to insinuate that I was expecting something in return, you can remove your head from the gutter.
I meant no offense. I'm only trying to understand the dynamic of your relationship.
I may need to approach this in a different manner. Perhaps I should speak with the Comtesse on this.
Merci for your cooperation.
I've done this wrong from the beginning, guys. I should never have talked to these people together in the same room. I should have done this individually in separate rooms. Now, Gideon.
No trouble at all. How can I help?
With the joining of your two families and the Major being around so much, I assume you knew him well.
I knew of him more than actually knowing him myself. In the past, he made his feelings towards my brother and I quite clear.
And that was not in a positive way.
I certainly wouldn't call trying to get Angeline to postpone the engagement positive.
When I spoke with your brother earlier, he was certainly enjoying himself.
What do you mean?
I do not mean to pry, only I imagine the whole room was aware of his celebrating with a bottle.
Yep, he's enjoying with the alcohol, guys. That is the only thing he's enjoying. The alcohol. The booze.
You must be mistaken. Neither my brother nor I drink.
I do not know how he cannot have noticed the state his brother was in. Perhaps one does not see what one does not want to believe. So how is your relationship with your brother?
We aren't the closest, but what brothers are?
I would argue that many are.
We've lived very different lives. Our priorities are different. He does not see things the way I do. There isn't much more to say.
There is clearly more to uncover here. I shall return to the matter when I will have the few that is required to get the answers. I'd like to ask you about your work with the Union.
I have lent my voice to some discussions. I have tried to facilitate meetings. Just positive support.
Does that positive support include sending letters to those on the opposing side?
Detective Poirot, I'm not sure what you think I have done.
Monsieur, a letter has been found threatening the Major of what might happen if he does not act promptly, and now he has wound up dead.
You think my sending him a letter, warning him not to get involved, means I murdered him?
At this time, it is certainly reason for me to be suspicious.
I have been funding the strikes, Detective. These men deserve fair treatment, and a wage that fits the hard work they undertake every single day. The Major didn't see that. All he cared about was the money for his services, and that is all I care to discuss.
It appears Monsieur's letter was at least written with the noble intentions, but he is still hesitant to talk more on the Major's association.
If you would be so kind as to stay here, I may require your help further.
Thank you for your help, Gideon.